Greetings, loyalists and heretics. Welcome to Iron and Ceramite, where we once again enter the warp without an astropath.
Hello everyone and welcome to day 5 of Warhammer Fest and Iron and Ceramite's coverage. We're going to be going through all the reveals today. This was Warhammer 40k part 2 or day 2, so day 5 but day 2 of 40k. Again, a lot of nice reveals, a lot of good stuff going on. I feel like after yesterday we had a bit of a lull after day 3 in Gaunt's Ghosts, which was a big one. Today felt like a nice positive big one as well, so we'll see what everyone thinks. But before we go into it, joining me today are the boys. That's foreshadowing there. Dave, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
All good, thank you. All good. And Tom?
All good, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Glad it's Friday, as I was saying to Dave a moment ago. Cool. Well, before we get into sharing some of the images and the visuals, what are you guys' overall impressions so far of Warhammer Fest and what's been covered so far? Dave, do you want to go first?
Very good.
Oh, sorry, Tom, do you want to go?
No, come on, Dave, you can go.
Are you doing the whole week so far, or just
just
today?
a bit of thoughts very quickly.
Yeah, no, I think it's so far so good. I think there's a lot of positive steps in the right direction, and it sounds to me like GW are starting to really listen to what fans want and stepping in that direction. And I'll go into my thoughts about further on, especially with the reveals today. Yeah. But yeah, I think overall it's been good. I think there's a lot of interesting new things coming out. I really enjoyed the book reveals as well for the Black Library. I think that there's a lot of cool books coming out of that I'm looking forward to getting. So far so good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow and what is going to be revealed then.
Yeah, the mystery day, of course. It's intriguing to see what's going to happen. What about yourself, Tom? How are you finding it?
Yeah, pretty much the same as Dave, really. There's quite a lot of exciting stuff. Obviously, I'm with you with the Gaunt's Ghost probably still being the biggest thing so far, the most exciting piece of news. I'm sure Glenn would agree if he was here. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm with Dave as well, where he said they've obviously listened to some of the feedback from the fans. And like we will go into that anyway, I'm sure we'll touch on that. There was a part with the Cadians, which I'll go into, which was pretty neat that they actually did for the first time, something they don't usually do with box sets. But yeah, we'll go into that. What do you think yourself, Shane, so far?
I think it's been really good. Like for anyone that's watched the Twitch, there's a certain theme that tends to run through on some of the chats. But I think ultimately, I think GW have done a good job. I think it's gone from sort of strength to strength. I think there's been some good reveals and then there's been some great reveals. And I think, as I said, Black Library Day was a real winning day. I think that was definitely up there. I thought the box games was good as well. Yesterday's one, I thought that was a pretty good set of reveals. I am really looking forward to tomorrow. I was also actually, on a side note, I was also really impressed with the hired gun Necromunda video that was shown to the next one for the game that's coming out June the 1st.
Yeah, I like
I'm really pleased that's cross-platform as well. So I am looking forward to getting that on the PlayStation.
Yeah, same here, mate. Definitely going to get that one. What about you, Dave? Are you going to get that as well?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to be sensible with what I'm going to get. So I haven't decided what I'm going to get.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that in mind, what we'll do is we'll, as is now the tradition, we'll get into some slides. So for those that are listening along rather than watching, obviously the theme of today's, as per the symbols that I've put up on the images you can see, was orcs, and then as Tom mentioned a little bit there as well, there's a bit about Cadia and the Cadian shock troops. So we'll go straight into it. The big reveal from first up, I suppose the orc reveal kept going, right? But it started off with the beast snaggers and a bit of a preview on some cunning. And now, Dave, as you've got a orc background today, let's start with you. What did you think?
Yeah, I think, again, as I mentioned, a really good step in the right direction in bringing some new life to the Xenos armies. I think orcs are one of the armies that need it the least, but it's always interesting to have new orc models, especially with the squigs and sort of harking back to the old models and bringing them sort of back into the foreground. I think there'll be a real interesting addition to orc armies. I'd like to see how they play. The only issue that I'll have is see how they will fit in orc armies, because I don't know whether it's going to be purely beast snaggers or whether they're going to be able to fit in with like, sort of traditional armies.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that a little bit, and it's a bit like the speed freaks. So you can run them as a single army, or you can run them as part of like a goth warband or evil sons or whichever else you want. Sorry.
With the release of the codex as well, we'll see.
Yeah.
More will come to light with that and how it's going to work together as well.
Tom, what do you think of these?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, anyway, I was considering doing an orc army many moons ago, which is never got round to it. But this it does really genuinely make me want to take that up again, because I think these models are awesome. Especially, obviously they touched on it on the show quite a bit. The what was it? The little Gretchen on the Squig.
Grot, yeah. I've got the name written down. What was it? I've got it written down. The Grot Bomb Squig Rider.
The Grot Bomb Squig Rider, if I could say that properly. Put my teeth back in. Yeah, I thought that was an awesome model. I mean, just the little funny little details that are on it. Obviously, he's holding a nail. I mean, that's, he's running at Space Marines with a nail. It's just only like something in an orc army would do that. And then you look down on the side of the Squig as well, when it's got dynamite strapped ready to go. He's just going to blow up anyway when it gets there. So you might as well not even have the nail, really. But yeah, I just think little touches like that are what makes the orc army such a cool army to collect.
They're definitely, as I said, there's a lot of fun to these miniatures, and there's a lot of a lot of joy that goes into an orc, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like everyone always says, don't they? Like, I mean, if you see someone bring an orc army to the table, usually they're a little bit eccentric as well themselves, and they've got but they're always having fun. So that's the main thing, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. I was thinking about this just afterwards, and it's like whether you're playing against orcs or playing them yourself, the battle always seems to be chaotic fun, right? You never know how it's going to end. You never know what's going to happen. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's like people say, isn't it? I mean, I know every game's on the roll of the dice, but specifically with orcs, if you get a good roll, you could smash anything. If you get a bad roll, literally, that's it. It could be over the whole game. Like, you'll lose everything. So yeah, it would be quite exciting to play them, I think.
Yeah, that is said that these are I know they'd rumoured it before about Primaris orcs, but I guess this is them, right? This is that equivalent.
Yeah, they did mention that they was bigger than the last orcs, didn't they? Or they're the biggest regular sort of orcs they've got so far. Yeah,
and then that's on that though. That's the boss knob on Smasher Squig. So the Squig with the like I said, like the old dinosaurs with the big thick skulls, ready to smash into things on the charge. And he was saying that orc himself was bigger than your standard orc, and so that model on its own is going to tower above like other commanders and space marines and stuff like that. I think it's a really cool model, and I like with these rather than like the snakebite orcs, which are just more tribal and primal. I like the fact these beast snaggers are kind of a mix of orc technology, should I say, where they've got their arms, some of their arms are obviously cobbled together by mech boys rather than just being, like tribal primal orcs.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really cool model as well, isn't it? I know I mentioned it in the chat to you guys, but I really think he looks like the Pale Orc from The Hobbit.
Oh yeah,
He's got that real set about him, his body and his face and all that, and just even the look of him, like sort of the pose of him, just reminds me of that. So if I ever collected him, I would be inclined to paint him as the Pale Orc. I don't know why, but I would do that to be different because I'm cool.
It'd be a very cool model, though, right? It would be a great way of painting it.
Yeah,
I bet
definitely.
you could do, knowing your love for kit bashing as well. I bet there's a bit you could do with that, like to make it even a bit more White Orc from the Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you could maybe put his gun on his back or something, and then take his arm and have it as, you've got that
the claw
sort of like
thing.
a claw, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a claw on there. That would be pretty cool.
Very good. What about yourself, Dave? What do you think of this one?
I think, yeah, brilliant model. And I just think that like Tom was saying, it's just all the eccentricity of the orcs. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to use.
Yeah.
It just looks ridiculous, but cool at the same time. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this sort of thing on tabletop.
Cool. Then this one's a bit out of focus, but I wanted to put it in there. This is Zod Grodd, Wart Snagger, and we got the new model, and then you've also got the really old school model that I put in there for reference, with a very old school model of Gazcol. That's what Gazcol used to look like. So they brought him back. They brought back Zod Grodd, and his new model, what I would say is incredibly cool. Like I really like the aesthetic of this. I like the idea of the hair squig, stapling hair onto himself. Obviously a bit of a runt herd, which is weird enough in Orc society. But yeah, for my mind, it's just a very, very cool model. I really like the aesthetic of this one, how it's all put together. I also like the fact that at the moment GW seem to be reaching back to Rogue Trader and Second Edition for some inspiration on some of the old characters. So that really speaks to me.
Yeah.
What I really like
I think that's cool.
Well, is that he's obviously on the fringes of Orc society, but he also looks like he is as well.
Yeah. He looks homeless, doesn't he? Like a homeless orc.
So yeah, I think he looks how I would imagine him to look, which is really good. It is impressive how they've made that. Yeah, that's just a really cool model. Like you said, Shane, nice use of sort of like the mech boys adding on the leg and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, awesome.
Do you guys know much about runt herds or what they do?
It's
not
the
really,
Grotts and Gretchens, isn't it?
That's it. So they the reason why Zod Grodd is an outcast is that most runt herds are just there to shuffle around the Grotts and the Gretchen into like the line of fire or to do the orc bidding generally. Whereas Zod Grodd actually believes in the power of the Gretchen and the Grot, and that they can be used for good rather than just as a resource to be used up by the bigger boys. And so that's caused him to be treated with suspicion by the rest of the orcs. So it's interesting that he's found himself in with the beast snaggers as opposed to somewhere else. But it's nice to see him back.
Like the guy on the show said as well, he's got like a herd of Gretchen and snotlings that are highly trained following him, behind him, like however highly trained they can be. But yeah. I
think that is perfect. I love a highly trained snotling. The idea of that is just amazing. And then obviously they covered it on the show a little bit as well. As obviously it comes in an army set, which is nice. So a nice box set to get you going. 26 miniatures, probably the same as the same sort of cost as the combat patrols. Probably a little bit more, I would imagine, because it comes with the codex. Obviously, they mentioned it's a limited box, so you can get this get all of the units in the box with the codex with the exclusive cover as a limited edition. But then they're going to release the codex separately anyway for all of the standard orc players as well as all the units. So it's not like you have to get it in the box, but I'd imagine if you are lucky enough to get hold of it, you'll probably get a nice bit of a discount on the unit cost anyway.
Yeah,
I think that will sell out, won't it? Pretty quick. Everything does really, but I mean, particularly orcs. I know there are a lot of collectors from, and it's been a while, hasn't it, until they've had a big upgrade. So I think that'll be quite scarce, pretty quick.
I was going to say, I think the last couple of editions, although they've updated the codex, I don't think the mechanics of the data sheets haven't changed drastically. Whereas this codex, it feels like there's going to be a bit of a change, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the orcs, because they could get really punchy. I mean, they were good anyway, and they've held their own even with their 8th edition rules, depending on, as you said, it's luck of the dice, right? But it's going to be really interesting to see how they go.
I think, well, Glenn touched on it before, didn't he? I mean, like whenever a new codex comes out, for whoever it is, they tend to make them just a little bit more special than everyone else for a little while. Obviously, people go out and buy it if that's the case, and it helps them to sell them. But Yeah, so I think you're right. I think they will be a little bit punchy after this one, hopefully.
Yeah, it'll be very entertaining. As I said, I know John's already said he's now done. That's his second army. That's what he's going for.
To be fair, this could have been any reveal, and John would have said that.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But part of me is maybe just like painting green. I don't know. Like
I was going to say, he's got a surplus of green paint.
Oh dear. And then obviously with the beast snaggers, you're kind of more tribal. Like they still, they don't shun technology like the was it the snake bite orcs, but obviously they then released or revealed the war boss in mega armor. Big chunky boy, this one. So he's been in the codex, but they've never had a proper model apparently, according to the release to the stream. So that was quite interesting. And he looks, obviously this one's painted up in Goth clan colours. Apparently the chopper that he's got on him is the biggest in the game. And obviously a nice little grot on top with what looks like a stubber or a Gatling gun or some description. But looks like a nice model, right?
Yeah. Love them little touches that they always have. Like you say, he's got the grot on it as well. I think adds a bit of character. But also, it was interesting actually what Glenn put in the chat about this model, because the Gretchen's firing the gun, and technically, well, lore-wise, I think, and in-game, the Gretchens have a better aim than orcs. Will that mean that the ballistic skill is higher on this model? Who knows? But I'm sure we'll find out very, very shortly.
I'd quite like it if that was the case. That would be.
It would make sense.
Quite a nice touch.
Yeah. Be a nice touch. It's interesting as well what they're saying in the stream about there being a lot more coming with the orcs.
Yeah.
So I'm quite interested to see where this goes. I think that, like you say, I think they're going to be punchy anyway. But I think that with a release of a few more updated models, I think they'll become quite a contender in a lot of the tabletop battles.
That's it. I think I think the thing that's always put me off with orcs before is that they are a horde army, and obviously those that followed the podcast long enough know my battle with batch painting. And the trouble with a horde army is you have to paint a lot, right? So I'm hoping that maybe some of the more bigger, punchier units that you can fit into a unit in an army in a different way that would then allow me to have the cool orc models, but maybe not hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of green otherwise.
Yeah. A more elite side of the orcs would be quite an interesting.
Yeah, that's it. If you could build build around the core of like the beast snaggers, for example, and then just add in a few extra elite units, that I could cope with. But as I said, that in itself still 26 miniatures, and that I just look at it and go, it's taken me how long to do 1,000 points of Space Marines? I don't know if I'll do it again.
Yeah, I think looking at it, I think they will be, like you touched on anyway, they will be the elite units, all of these beast snaggers, because like they had a few of them, didn't they? Just the riders taking on a knight, sorry?
Yeah.
In there. So they're like big game hunters. So I'm assuming they're going to be pretty damn powerful.
It's really interesting to see what the data sheets look like, because as I said, it's they're great looking models, very orky, which is what we like. But if they've got the punchy data cards to stack it up, it's going to be a real game changer in terms of the orcs going against your Primaris and stuff like that. And then speaking of so tangentially getting onto the Imperium, they also revealed the upgrade packs for the Cadian shock troops. So a nice little picture there of an upgraded Cadian troop there, and then we get into it a bit more. You can see a bit more of the detail. What did you guys think of this?
This, 100%. I'm going to get a few of these for the Namakash Crusade. I think they look awesome. I think they just breathe new life into the Cadian shock troops, and a lot more customizable. And I just think they look really good. So I'll definitely get a few of these to go in there, and hopefully, as I was saying earlier, to step in the right direction for some upgrade packs for other Imperial Guard and regiments. So I'm really hoping that there are some in the future where you can get some more Steel Legion or Tannic or whoever it may be, and just to have that sort of personalisation of it would be really interesting.
Yeah, Tom, what do you reckon?
I do like them. Don't get me wrong. They don't do it for me, Imperial Guard. They never have. But these are really cool models. I do agree with Dave. They are pretty awesome. But the thing that I like about it the most was what I was saying at the beginning, that they've got all the special weapons, as you see there, everything in there so you can customize them. Some box sets in the past, you'll have like 1 or 2 special weapons, and then you'll have to try and source the others from somewhere else. Obviously, spending more money, taking more time and effort. But everything's there for you, ready to go, so you can make your choice. And obviously, you can have weapons left over. So I really like that they've done that, and actually gave you a bit more value for money, I think.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff for the bits box. I particularly, I mentioned it on the stream as well, but I really like this guy. You can see him if you're watching. But
with the cards,
it's the guy with the cards and the underneath the band on the helmet. Very well, most Hollywood Vietnam films have some dude who's got the cards in his helmet. Very much liking the look of those. But I think it's the spread of options that are available, and the fact that this is just, you know, ammo for your bits box. Like, there's so much you can do with this if you buy this upgrade pack, you know. And I think they were saying it on the stream as well. Like, one of the guys is going to get it just for like his kill team, rather than for any of his 40k troops. So there's a lot of good options there. And yeah, you're right. The special weapons side of it is nice as well. We'll see whether Glenn gets any for his. I mean, he's got enough anyway, right? But you never know.
Yeah, he's always going on about his pile of shame money, so I'm sure he can add some more to it.
Indeed.
But what we call him now? The Lord of Shame. That's his new nickname. He likes it as well. So there you go.
Well, there we go. And then finally, it finished off with a bit of a. I'm not putting the video up here because I don't want us to get any strikes on YouTube. We're still early enough in our careers that we don't need to deal with that yet. But there was a bit of an animation at the end, a bit of a teaser clip featuring the Grey Knights and Tzeentch Thousand Sun type imagery. That's the way I did it, and that's the way I read it. And apparently, the tease is if you go to the Warhammer community website now, they're talking about the fact that this might be or it's potentially a battle box that's coming up. What did you guys think of the animation? Anything you read from it?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I think they showed the I can't remember what it's called, the guy in the war suit type of thing. Was that the one at the beginning? The
that was Grey Knight
type thing.
Dread Knight. That's it.
Dread Knight, that's the one. Yeah, that's a pretty cool model. And I know there was some people saying in the chat while I was reading along the side that they're expecting Primaris Grey Knights possibly as an upgrade. So that's what I think. It possibly that, and maybe possibly a new codex for either. I think that's what the presenters alluded to.
Yeah,
that was a possibility, was it? Maybe, but
I think so. I think it could. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing if it's on the cards, right? Like Grey Knights or Thousand Suns codex. Either one would be good, right? That's that'd be pretty special. What about yourself, Dave? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to be a battle box, a bit like Piety and Pain. And I think that, again, that's the sort of thing that there's a lot of new people coming into the hobby, and I think that battle boxes are going to be a real interesting way of getting people ready to go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And once I do finish sort of the little projects that I've got going, and hopefully in the future when I'm a bit more settled and actually have an army to go out and play with properly, I'll be picking up battle boxes pretty much every time they come out to get. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's just, again, it's hard to tell with these sort of things, isn't it? Because they're deliberately not letting very much fun. So you can speculate all you want, but new codexes would be really good, and hopefully a battle box.
Oh yeah, I personally I quite fancy some Thousand Suns, because I was thinking about that the other day in terms of other armies I could go for, and it feels quite thematic to have the arch enemies of the Space Wolves. So I was thinking about having that as my chaos army, as it were. But I was looking through the models and stuff, and they've kind of got a little bit stale with the Thousand Suns. So if it is that, I'm sure that'd be a nice little touch, and that might be enough for me to get involved. And you know, I can handle having some Grey Knights because they're pretty cool models, right?
Yeah, definitely. Dave, you that was actually one of your contenders, wasn't it? Before you started collecting Space Marines, the Templars.
Templars, yeah, definitely, they were up there. So, and again, Black Templars just took it really, because I read the books a bit more with that one, so it could have been quite easily have been Grey Knights, but until there's an update. I'm quite glad. I went for 10 past. So I may regret that decision, but we'll see. What are we thinking for tomorrow then? Have we got any predictions for the mystery day?
The presenters seemed pretty excited about it, didn't they? That guy, he couldn't keep the smile off his face when he mentioned it. The bald geezer. He was like, "Oh, looking forward to tomorrow," and he just sort of went. so it must be something pretty special.
John keeps hoping for his GW cinematic universe. Well, we'll see, John. We'll see.
I think he's starting to believe it now himself. He said it so much. He's like, it's definitely happening. That would be awesome, though, man. Like Glenn said before, they've got the money to do it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But it is all about the money still. Anyway, the business side. If they didn't think it would work, then they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, they are, as I said, they're not the company. Not in a bad way. They're not the company they once were, because obviously they're floated on the stock exchange or various places. So they're a company that's answerable to shareholders these days. So they have to be a bit careful. But as I said, the properties they've got, the law they've got, and the rumours that have come out before, it could be any of them. It could be Eisenhorn, could be the animated stuff. It could even be more comics, right? It was the stuff you're looking at right now, Tom, that you got the other day. I went on is it Comixology, which is just like an Amazon thing, but there was a whole Marnius Calgar, the Ultramarines comic that came out not too long ago.
Oh, then yeah,
and it could be anything, but it's exciting to have a feeling. We're saying it's 40. It might not be 40k. It could be something entirely different.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned the old world yet, have they? That coming back. So potentially that still. I really don't. You just don't know, do you? They'd probably lead you to think it's something just so that they could say it's something else, wouldn't they? So it's a bit more of a surprise. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then I suppose we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, we'll do coverage of it again so that everyone can follow along. What did you guys think of the big crab that came out yesterday in the box set? Apparently, the internet, flew out the internet. I have already seen memes about it as well. What do you think about the giant crab?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen it. I didn't watch the one yesterday at all yet, so I'll have to look up on that because I did notice that he was going on about that quite a lot. So I'm assuming, what does it actually look like? Is it like a cute model or a psychopathic looking model, or what is it like?
It just
looks a crab, but
it's
like a crab.
It's a pretty accurate depiction of a crab, just in scale. It would, if it was to scale, it would be a big enough crab to make you look twice and go, fucking hell, that's a giant crab. But
hang on. Yes. No, I have seen it. It was because a meme come out, like you said, there has been memes, and there was it the fish and the lobster from Little Mermaid?
That's it.
So that's the right? Yeah, I have seen it. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that
is pretty cool actually.
Yeah, it's just interesting that that's it. We can now get a crab if we want to. But
the first time Tom's had crabs, so
I'm assuming not you then, no. What army does it fight for?
So it's part of the Warhammer Underworld box set.
Okay.
So it is. Hang on, I wrote it down yesterday in my book of notes. I'm getting.
You're getting worse than John.
I know. Yeah. I was going to say I'm going down. Let's see. It's part of the Soul Reavers, Elephane Soul Raid. That's it. So it's part of the Soul Reavers, and that they've got like eels and fish and this crab stuff because they. When they come out to claim the souls, they what comes with them is something called the ether sea, and then these animals like swim through it, even though you can't necessarily see it. So they're not just floating; they're swimming through the ether sea.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Anyway, crabs aside, that was day 5, Warhammer day 2. Thank you guys both for joining me, and thank you all for watching along. Hopefully it's been entertaining. Hopefully you've enjoyed Warhammer Fest so far. We'll be back again tomorrow to cover the final mystery day. And in the meantime, of course, like, follow, share, and subscribe. And that's us from Iron and Ceramite. You guys want to say goodbye? Bye.
See you later, guys.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.